Alrighty. Hello, Mental Matters viewers. Oh my gosh, we are here finally. Sadly, regretfully,
Yeah. Ooh, unfortunately.
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 Oh my gosh, guys, this is our final recording, our final podcast for Mental Matters. And as usual, it is me, Kimberly from Psyche, and we're joined by the amazing, beautiful, stunning, fantastic. Sorry, guys, it's the last time I can do this hype thing, so I'm just going to keep going. Intelligent, capable, incredible, funny, smart.
Stop.
Kopano from Sax FM.
Thank you, Kim. I'm gonna miss these hype mini sessions. But welcome, guys, to another episode of Mental Matters. I think this one's very special because it's a full circle. It's just us saying, yo, this is what we've learned, this is what we've done. And I think it's even more special because it falls in the month of October, or you guys are gonna hear or watch this in October, which is Mental Health Awareness Month in South Africa. And so a very crucial time, and allows us to really introspect as a country we're still within a pandemic, but like how we are moving mentally, amongst all the job losses, amongst all of the school pressure going online, people homeschooling their little brothers and sisters or kids, learning to work from home with your significant other or even your family. Like, there's so many things that we've had to sort of like deal with over this year. And I think if there was ever a year where mental health is important and a very important discussion to be having, and I hope that it continues this way, it is 2020. So yeah, I think we're gonna go straight into it. Today it's just us two. So you stuck with us. Sorry.
Stuck with the bed.
So yeah, let's get it. Wait, let me ask you, Kim, what episode stood out for you the most out of the series?
Oh my gosh. I won't lie. I think for me, there were some episodes I went into expecting it to play out a certain way. And then I just learned something completely different. And those are the episodes I like the most. Like the ones that completely threw me off my game. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I know nothing. And I think one that comes to mind for me is the one with Dr. Katsia, where she was speaking about how do we take a break, how do we rest, and I remember we recorded that just before the university break because we didn't have a long recess, and like amidst COVID and all of that stuff, we weren't sure how do we actually find a way to relax without doing the things that we're used to doing to relax, So that one for me was like super interesting because I expected it to go in one direction. I expected it to be about fitness and exercise and all of the things that are great, but also make us feel a little bit, we judge ourselves for these things sometimes. We feel so like pressured to be at a certain level where we often aren't. So I went into it thinking it would be about that, but like it was completely different. Dr. Kudsia spoke about burnout. She spoke about how to be mindful in everything you do. And that has stayed with me, hey? Like that has really revolutionized how I see mental health and how I see myself in that dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what about for you? What stood out for you?
Whoa. I think it's two. I can't really pick between the two of them. The episode with Matthias, the postgrad, who sort of made me realize that we are so hard on ourselves when it comes to academics. Like sometimes we really just need to like step back and realize that first of all, you're doing a degree. Second of all, like it's an opportunity that not a lot of people, get to do. So counting the blessings in amongst the storm is always very important. And I think also possibly going into postgrad, I don't know, but there's also that sense of like, okay, cool, like this is the mental space that you need to sort of, carry out through it all, is like general positivity, general just trying to see the better or the greater in, the worst of the parts. And the second one has to be with Dr. T. I think like I just thoroughly enjoy, like, no offense to all our male, like, guests that we've had, but I think as a young woman who is in academia, or is trying to find my way in academia, listening to people like Dr. T is so, like, it's mind-blowing for me sometimes, because first of all, I understand the magnitude of the fact that not many young women have had that privilege, but also because she spoke on something really important, and that was expectations and identity and who we are and how that sort of changes and how our lives change. Like it was just like oh my gosh, like that is so correct. Like, there's only so much you can expect from yourself and others in a time like this, because first of all, what are the expectations? Let's like, what do you mean? Let's like, what? Okay, so this is the first time we've all ever lived in a pandemic. We can't even say like we've had practice at this. Like, no, dude, no one has had practice. Maybe like, the fields, like the science field has had, practice in terms of, but even the doctors that are with us now that are dealing with COVID have never dealt with the Spanish flu or the plague or whatever else, So I think it's very important to always remember expectations are very, very relative to where we are, how we're doing, and our identities, they change, and we can't expect the same from people, pre-corona to post-corona. Like, it's not the same. We have evolved as people. Our identities have like shifted enormously. And yeah, it's actually like, we need to remember that like we're going through something very traumatic. And like sometimes even like my psychologist like has to remind me, like, Kopano, you do know that you're living through a pandemic, right? Like, that's not simple. That's not like, oh, okay, cool, we're living through a pandemic. No, it's like, you're living through a pandemic. So just keeping that at the back of your mind, not like letting it fester or like, take over everything, but just being a little kinder to yourself. Yeah. That's like, yeah, devs.
No, definitely. And just speaking about kindness to oneself, let me close the sliding door. Like you're saying, this expectation that we have on ourselves. I mean, I'm just thinking about even prior to COVID and what we've gone through with lockdown and how we now have meetings and, podcasts even. Prior to this, there was just such a expectation and such a pressure for things to be perfect, or close to perfect. And people didn't even want to venture into doing certain things because it's like, I don't have that equipment. I don't have that following. Yeah. I don't have that A, B, C, D. And we all just kind of looked at life through this lens of like, we have to attain and then maintain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually just be and get to where we need to get to when we get to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I agree. Hey, it's been hectic.
Yeah, no. Yo, guys, we're living through a pandemic. Anyway, I think I've said that so many times now. Guys, I need everyone to recognize that I've worn 3 different bucket hats throughout the series. Okay, and I got a new one. So like, if anybody would like to sponsor Mental Matters with bucket hats for, I'd appreciate that.
I mean,
okay, we're going
why not? Why not? But yeah, no, I think so. For you, Kopano, what would you say is maybe an episode that has taught you something that you now apply to your everyday routine?
Was it Nkateko? I think. Yes. She taught me how to breathe. She taught me how to breathe. So just like personally, I suffer sometimes now and again from mental breakdowns and sort of just anxiety attacks. Gotten better, a lot better over time, but sometimes now I can even prevent a anxiety attack. I don't know if I'm making sense. So like, if I feel very tense, I'll be like, okay, cool, let's 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out, 1, 2, 3 in, like literally in the office, like nobody would even know. I could be in like any setting, in a restaurant, in a whatever, and especially now that I'm being a social butterfly again, and even though I'm an extrovert, like social settings sometimes overwhelm me, like because I haven't been in them for so long that now it's like, whoa, okay, too many people, whoa, but so literally that was the first thing I have learned, is how to breathe again, how to, when I'm in a stressful situation, grounding myself, remembering, okay, cool, you are in control of your breath. That's the only thing you have control of. And let's go, let's breathe, So I think that's the one thing that I'm like, I am so grateful for that, because that has helped me so much. Please go listen to that episode, guys. Like, you will, like breathing will become a new thing in your life. Like you'll be like, what?
Just to disclaimer,
like that.
I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I get to
like
1, 3, 4, 5, then I'm like, no.
I think like it's just being like you were saying, being mindful about the small things. So I think that's what that episode told me, that even something as small as breathing is important to be mindful about. So yeah, and you?
Oh, I think for me, it was probably Prof. Guse speaking about like utilizing your personal strengths. Because I think for me, like I always put this pressure on myself to kind of be the best at everything, which is obviously impossible. And I continuously let myself down there. And I'm like, you are suffering because of your own delusions in your head.
Yes,
but
correct. Yeah.
I think after that episode, it really highlighted to me how, first of all, you don't have to try to be perfect at everything and try to be the best at everything. But secondly, there are some things that you might be looking at as a weakness that actually are a strength, And it really forced me to kind of go back and think about what my strengths are and how do I utilize those strengths on an everyday basis. So, for instance, I realized that like I write quite well, So I was like, how can I actually apply that, not just in my assignments, where after you submit an assignment, it's gone, you back to your sleeping in every day, watching anime life, So I started like writing a little bit more in terms of how I'm feeling, not so far as journaling, but more like just observations in life, what I'm recognizing in myself, what I'm recognizing in my life journey currently. And that has really helped me just, I don't know how to explain it, guys. When you get to a place of self-appreciation where you start to feel a little bit guilty and you're just like, this doesn't sound
You've been putting yourself through so much. What? Like,
what's going on?
The hell?
So that really changed my perspective on my strengths and my weaknesses, and that's something that I've really been working on a daily basis. So
you go, girl. I'm proud of you.
Woo woo. Okay, so now it's official, level 1. Some students are going back to campus, some people aren't. I think you said for EMS, you've got an EMS module or something?
So EMS modules, final years have to write on campus. So one of my modules is going to be written on campus, and I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how are you feeling? Like, and your classmates as well. Where are you guys finding yourselves in this?
Well, we sort of feel like we understand where the faculty is coming from, but we also feel you know, a little bit like, but that's not fair. You know, a lot has happened over the year. We've all gotten accustomed to, you know, writing things online. And also another factor being, you know, accommodation, transportation. I'm one of the few lucky people that are still in res currently, but you know, there are some people who have canceled leases, who have canceled placements at res, and you know, are not necessarily in the province. So I don't know if there's going to be, you know, provision made for that. Or yeah, I also haven't been up to date with my email, so but like, as far as I know, it's still happening that we're still writing on campus. Maybe by the time that this goes out, something else would, like, it would have changed or whatever. But you know, in just in the, you know, where we are right now, it's a bit like, it's a bit nerve-wracking for everyone, because we don't know if we're going to be like, firstly, we need to understand that the modules that we're doing now, we've never been tested on, you know, physically. So it's like, okay, cool, like, what happens now? What do we, you know, how do we get tested on this physically? And also then it's like, okay, cool, and now that we, like, there's just so many logistics that make us so, and personally for me, that make me a little bit anxious. I mean, I've been going, I mean, I'm back at work now, and I work, you know, with a lot of people. So it's not necessarily the lot of people thing for me. I'm like, whatever, like, it's fine. It's just, I don't know if I remember how to write a physical test, like, like anxiety wise, like, how do you do that? So yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's gonna be a very interesting thing to see how that pans out. We're hoping that, you know, the powers that be reverse this decision. But
powers.
Hey, powers, we beg. But we're just preparing. Like, at this point, we're preparing for the worst. Like, literally, that's like, you know, and then that's not a nice place to be, but that's the only place we can be at this point in time. So yeah. And you, like, are there any, you know, online things, and sort of how has, you know, level 1 changed your life? I know you've, you know, been going out a little bit more. We see you recently turned 26. No shame, been out here.
I think, no, yeah, to be honest, that has been the biggest change in my life, just the frequency at which I allow myself to not spend all day in my pajamas, which is something I am very happy to do. But again, realizing that one needs balance in their lives, and you can't do that all day, every day, otherwise you would drive yourself crazy. But yeah, I think other than that, level 1, in terms of assignments, in terms of tests and all of that, it's been basically the same. We're being told that we're still going to continue online. I think the big thing is, you know, I'm currently doing my honors, and next year it's masters. And master's selection is super competitive, as well as honors selection, because it's all marks based. But with master selection, it's even more competitive, and there's interviews and there's all of this stuff. So I think the biggest amounts of stress in the people around me, especially, has been that, like, basically what you touched on, that not knowing, you know, that what now, like, how are you planning to do this? Because a lot of universities have kind of postponed a lot of their processes. So a lot of them have just kind of said, give us the next 2 months, give us the next 3 months, we'll let you know what is happening. And so clearly what's happening now is they're changing some of their processes. So for instance, I know with tax, usually to get into honors, they'd give provisional acceptance to like 100 students, and then final acceptance in January to like 40 students, right? 40, 50. But now they're not even doing provisional acceptance. And it's to be fair to the rest of the students in the country, because students at other universities haven't received any of the results. So they can't give provisional acceptance, you know?
Okay.
That causes a lot of frustration and a lot of, you know, anxiety in tech students who are saying, well, how do I know if I'm going to have to move to another province, or, you know, May next year, how do I know what I'm going to have to do in order to get this degree, you know? And yeah, that's been a lot of pressure. It's been a lot of mm, I don't know, like a lot of me also trying to be there for the people around me. Because again,
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate in that I heard quite early where I've been placed and all of that stuff. So that hasn't been a huge stressor for me, particularly. But obviously, like the people closest to you, how they're feeling, what they're going through affects you, you know? So
Yeah.
that's been a huge source of, yeah, like my emotions being in flux with this whole
Yeah.
one situation.
So now I think, like, just to, I guess from my side, just to wrap it up, what is mental health to you now that we have, you know, hey,
This
look at
loaded
me.
question.
Look at me. Look at me. Very first question that was asked on this podcast. I asked it at the end. I'm such, like, I feel like a genius right now. Anyway, what does mental health mean to you, Kim?
um, okay, so I'm not going to repeat what I said in the first episode. Rather, let me just say how it's evolved for me. So, how it's like different from that first answer I gave. And I think, going into it, like I've said a few times before, and I'll just keep reiterating, what I've been learning is it's not something that it's not a theoretical thing where once you get it, you get it. Mental health for me has definitely expanded to being more of a journey, more of a lifestyle, more of a, I don't know, it's not a religion, but it's a way of life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not conceptual for me anymore. And I think that's really been a result of this podcast series.
Yeah.
Like just learning all of the different ways that mental health affects your life and what we can do about it in so many different facets. And also us knowing that we only had 9 episodes to cover this. Like there's still so much more out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that for me, mental health is now not just a theory, a concept, a literature. It is more about a way of being. So,
Yeah.
and for you, Kopano?
Mental health is, first of all, the most important part of our lives. Physical is important and I get it. And I mean, I'm all for making sure that you're great physically. I just literally came from the doctor today to get like a full on checkup and everything like that. But mental health has become, like, I'm getting emotional because it's it's so much more like than what we see on social media or what we see. Like, depression is so much more than just being sad. Anxiety is just so much more than worrying that something isn't going to go well, or something is going to go well too well. Like, I don't know, it's such a weird concept. And the list goes on and on and on. And I think it's just about learning to be mindful, learning to be kind to ourselves, learning to understand that there is so much that we can control, and even that is still sometimes out of our control. And mental health is just, it's literally just loving yourself enough to take the time, learning to say no to people, learning to not allow people who mess your mental health up in, drawing boundaries. Mental health is loving yourself enough to say, today I'm gonna take it easy, and tomorrow I'm gonna go in, like, but still knowing that your worth isn't placed in your productivity. So mental health is just, I guess, what you're saying. It's like, it's a way of life. It's how to really just keep going in a healthy way, in a way that makes sense, and not overburdening ourselves, and showing the most important person love, and that is yourself. So I think that is what mental health is. And I'm 100% emotional right now. So in case you guys don't want to see tears, I say we wrap it up.
But yeah, no, 100% Kopano. And I think, you know, guys, really do check out all of these episodes. You know, Kopano just touched on it right now in terms of, there was an episode we did with Anthony Townsend, problems versus disorders. And guys, like, mental health, like Kopano is saying, it really is the most important part of the human experience, because you know, that fine line between a problem and a disorder is sometimes just seeking help. You know, it's sometimes just I need a little bit of assistance here. And the longer you wait to do that, the more intense and the more maladaptive your coping strategies become. Yeah, the closer you get to that disordered line, you know. But
so please seek help, guys. Like, please, like, it's just like, please, from, you know, the university side, there is student counselors. They have gotten more, as David told us in the previous episode. They have, you know, went about trying to really get more student counselors on board. There are, you know, toll-free lines by SADC. There's the what is it, the UP care line. They speak out, even though they deal more with, you know, sexual abuses and stuff like that, but that also affects your mental health. So they also will be able to, you know, put you in touch with someone who can really help. And we know that sometimes, that, you know, with family and friends, not everyone will be able to understand, but trust me, there is someone out there who, I know your brain tells you, why would they want to listen to my problems? But trust me, there is someone out there who wants to help you. Please don't ever feel alone, because that is, see, again, emotional, but seek help. Please, like, we are amazing young people, and like, we are destined to change this world. But before that happens, we really need to look inwards.
And for the people you love, guys, like, we don't always know the right thing to do, you know. And even if you just want to ask, you know, what do I do in this situation when my loved one is presenting with this, or, you know, what are the signs and symptoms of ABCD? You know, no one is expecting you to know it all and be it all and do it. These people are here because they are experts in the health professional field. They know exactly, or they know at least how you can go about, you know, even being there for your loved ones. So every walk of life, let's be there for each other.
And that brings us to the end of our episode. Now the tears are starting. Oh my gosh. No way. Okay, so I'm not gonna cry on camera. I refuse to cry on camera. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna leave this on a bang. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched any Mental Matters episode, for sharing, for commenting, for liking. Go back, listen to them, because it's timeless. It's really timeless information. Doesn't really change much. Well, sometimes it does, but and there's differences between people. But really, thank you so much to everyone who's ever supported this podcast. Thank you to Psyche for getting us on board as Sax FM. I am so honored to have been a part of this. You know, coming from Sax FM's side, and we really, we are currently, you know, running a huge mental health campaign as Sax FM, and we really want the campus to know that, like, like, we care about this. This is what we're the voice of the campus, and one of the things that needs voicing is mental health. So thank you so much, Psyche, for having us. Thank you to Mike for picking me to be the Sax FM correspondent. And thank you so much, Kim, for being an amazing co-host, for always being so loving and so kind. She's the calm to the storm, guys. I am the loud one, and she's like, so. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Any last words, Kim?
Nothing but love. Nothing but love. And guys, you can catch this on the Tux FM Instagram, and yeah, follow Tux FM, guys. Like, I'm just learning so much about actually life and student life, even.
Correct.
On the Tux FM social media. Follow Kopano. She's such an inspiration. Young person doing things, going places.
We try.
And then follow Society Society
Yes.
underscore UP, I think. And then yeah,
Yes.
that's me being Kim Erdley on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
Thanks, guys. We love you.